For 6 months, Noah had been the best thing in my life. He wasn't rich, flashy, or obsessed with impressing people, and that was exactly what I loved about him. But my best friend Vanessa saw him differently. The moment she met Noah, she judged his old truck, worn clothes, and simple lifestyle. She thought I was wasting my life on a man who had nothing. What Vanessa didn't know was that Noah was hiding something from both of us. And when she finally discovered who he really was, it was already too late to take back everything she'd done. For 6 months, Noah Bennett had been the safest part of my life. He never tried to impress me. He wore faded shirts, drove an old pickup truck, and fixed things instead of replacing them. None of that bothered me. I grew up watching my father count coins before buying groceries. I knew better than to measure a man's worth by his wallet. That was why Vanessa's face bothered me the second she saw him. She had picked an expensive cafe downtown for our first meeting. Noah walked in wearing a warm brown jacket and gave me a small smile. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. You're fine, I said. Noah, this is Vanessa. Vanessa, Noah. Nice to meet you, he said. Vanessa looked him up and down before forcing a smile. Yeah, you too. I knew that look. A few minutes later, Noah stood. I'm going to wash my hands. Be right back. The moment he disappeared, Vanessa leaned toward me. Ethan, seriously? This is a guy. I frowned. What does that mean? She lowered her voice. He looks like he can't afford the coffee. My jaw tightened. His financial situation is none of your business. I'm your best friend. It absolutely is. No, it isn't. Before I could say more, Noah returned. Vanessa immediately smiled. So Noah, what do you do? I'm between projects right now. Her eyebrows rose. Oh, and what do you drive? I stared at her. Vanessa. What? I'm making conversation. Noah stayed calm. An old pickup. And where do you live? An apartment. She gave a small laugh. Then she looked at me. So does Ethan usually pay when you two go out? My face burned. Enough. Noah placed a hand lightly over mine. It's okay. No, it isn't. Vanessa shrugged. I'm just trying to understand the situation. The situation, I said, is that I'm happy. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she pulled $100 bill from her purse while pretending to check her phone. I watched her let it fall beside Noah's chair. He noticed it a second later. Oh, you dropped this. He picked it up and held it toward her. Vanessa took it with a smile. I know. Noah's expression changed slightly. What? I was checking whether you keep it. My stomach turned. You did what? She laughed like it was harmless. Relax. He passed. I pushed my chair back. We're leaving? Noah didn't argue. As I grabbed my jacket, he looked at me quietly. There was no anger in his face, which somehow made me feel worse. Near the door, Vanessa caught my arm. Ethan, wait. I pulled away. You embarrassed him on purpose. I'm trying to protect you. From what? From making a mistake. You can do better than him. I looked through the glass door at Noah waiting outside beside his old truck. Then I faced her. Maybe I already did. That night, Noah sat beside me on my couch while I apologized a third time. You don't have to keep saying sorry, he told me. She shouldn't have treated you like that. No, she shouldn't have. I rubbed my hands together. She wasn't always like this. Noah looked at me carefully. Has Vanessa always measured people by their bank accounts? No. The answer came too quickly. I looked away. She could be judgmental sometimes, but she's my friend for years. He stayed silent. Deep inside, I knew I was defending history, not her behavior. Then Noah leaned back slowly. There's something else. I turned toward him. What? He narrowed his eyes as if searching through a memory. Vanessa looks familiar. My chest tightened. Familiar from where? He paused. I don't know yet. Noah. He shook his head. I don't want to say until I'm sure. And somehow, the way he said it made me realize our terrible afternoon at the cafe might only have been the beginning. I couldn't stop thinking about Noah's last words. Vanessa looks familiar. The next morning, I asked him again, familiar from where? He shook his head. I told you I'm not sure yet. You're making it sound serious. I don't want to accuse her of anything without knowing the full story. His calm voice only made me more frustrated. Then why mention it all? Because I didn't want to hide that something fell off. I studied his face. Noah was not nervous. He was careful. That made me believe there was more to this than he was saying. A few days later, Vanessa called me. My birthday dinner is Friday. I stayed quiet. Then she added, bring Noah. I almost laughed. After what happened at the cafe, I was rude. Fine. I admit it. You humiliated him. I said I was sorry. You never apologized to him. She sighed. Ethan, please. I'll behave. I should have said no. Instead, I agreed. Friday night. Noah and I arrived at a restaurant filled with people who looked like they had never worried about the price of anything. Vanessa was already there. This is my brother, Daniel, she said. Daniel stood and shook Noah's hand. Good to meet you. You too, Noah said. Daniel didn't stare at his clothes. He didn't ask what he drove. He simply treated him like a person. I noticed the difference immediately. Dinner started calmly. Then Vanessa's friends began talking about promotions, houses, expensive vacations, and investments. One of them turned to Noah. What about you? What do you do? Noah took a sip of water. I'm between projects. Vanessa laughed. So basically unemployed. I looked at her. Stop. She raised both hands. What? He said it. No, you said it. Noah stayed quiet. That should have ended it. It didn't. Vanessa leaned back in her chair. You know, Ethan used to talk all the time about owning his own restaurant. I felt my stomach tighten. Vanessa, he had big plans. Don't. She smiled. And now you're dating someone who probably needs you to buy dinner. The table went silent. I could hear glasses clinking somewhere behind me. My face burned, but not because I was embarrassed by Noah. I was embarrassed by her. This was my best friend, and she was enjoying hurting someone I cared about. Noah finally looked at her. If I had money, would that make me a better person? Vanessa didn't even hesitate. It would at least make you useful. Vanessa, Daniel snapped. She looked at him. What? You've gone too far. Oh, please. No, he's right, I said. I pushed my chair back. Vanessa stared at me. Ethan, don't be dramatic. I stood. If you can't respect Noah, then you don't respect me. Her smile disappeared. So you're choosing him? I looked at Noah, then back at the woman I had called my best friend for years. I'm choosing basic respect. Noah stood beside me. We walked toward the exit. Behind us, Vanessa called out, when he starts asking you for money, don't come crying to me. I stopped for half a second. Then I kept walking. Outside, the night air hit my face. I can't believe she did that, I said. Noah was unusually quiet. I turned toward him. What? He looked back through the restaurant window. I need to tell you something. My chest tightened. About Vanessa? Yes. You remember where you know her from? He nodded. I've known exactly who she is for weeks. I stared at him. What? She recently applied for a senior position. So, at a company I know very well. Something about his voice changed. Why would you know that? Noah looked directly at me. For the first time since I had met him, I felt like I was standing in front of someone I didn't fully know. Because there's something about my life I haven't told you. My heart sank. What are you hiding? He took a slow breath. I'll tell you everything tomorrow night. The next day felt longer than it should have. Noah had promised me the truth. But until he actually gave it to me, my mind kept circling the same thought. Maybe Vanessa had been right about one thing. Maybe I didn't really know him. By the time we met that evening, I was done pretending I was calm. Tell me everything. Noah looked at me for a moment. I will. No half-truths. No half-truths. I folded my arms. You said you were between projects. I am. I stared at him. That sounds like another careful answer. He sighed. It was technically true, just not in the way Vanessa assumed. Then what does it mean? He leaned forward. My family owns Bennett Hospitality Group. I blinked. What? Hotels. restaurants, commercial properties, several states. I waited for him to smile. He didn't. I gave a short laugh. Okay, very funny. I'm serious. Noah, come on. Without arguing, he pulled out his phone. He showed me company records, photos, business information, and his name attached to things I had never imagined. My stomach slowly tightened. This is real. Yes. You're not broke. No. I stood and walked a few steps away. Everything suddenly looked different. His old truck, his apartment, his clothes, all the things Vanessa had mocked. I turned back toward him. Why would you hide this from me? His face changed. I've watched money destroy relationships. That doesn't answer me. It does. No, it explains your fear. It doesn't explain why you let me believe something completely different. He looked down. I wanted to build my own life. I wanted to know if someone could care about me without caring about the Bennett name. I felt something sharp inside my chest. So you tested me? No. He looked up quickly. I protected myself. It feels like the same thing. Silence filled the room. That was the first time I had ever felt truly angry with him. He stood. My truck belonged to my grandfather. I keep it because it matters to me. I said nothing. My apartment is my choice. My clothes are my choice. None of that was fake. But the biggest part of your life was... His shoulders dropped. I know. That answer stopped me. No excuses. No argument. Just guilt. He rubbed a hand over his face. I was scared, Ethan, and I handled it badly. I looked at him. So what happens now? I apologize. And if you're angry, you have every right to be. I wanted to stay angry. But then I remembered Vanessa. Is this why she looked familiar? He nodded. Yes. My body went still. How? He took another breath. Her application is on the final shortlist for regional brand director at Bennett Hospitality. I stared at him. What? It's a senior position. A huge one. Yes. And you knew for weeks. My stomach dropped. Then another thought hit me. Wait, are you involved in the hiring? His silence answered first. Noah, I'm on the final interview panel. I stepped back. You cannot punish her. His eyes narrowed slightly. I wasn't planning to. After everything she said to you, her career and her behavior toward me are separate things. I studied him. There was no satisfaction in his face. No revenge. That made me respect him more. And somehow, it made Vanessa's behavior look even worse. She humiliated you because she thought you had nothing. I said quietly, yes. And now she wants a job from your company. Yes. I sat down. For the first time, I wondered if I should warn her. She had been my friend for years. Maybe I owed her that. Then I remembered the $100 bill, the birthday dinner, her smile when she called Noah useless. No, Vanessa had made those choices without knowing who he was. That was the point. I won't tell her. Noah looked at me. You're sure? I don't want revenge. Neither do I. But I also don't want to protect her from her own behavior. Before he could answer, his phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. His expression changed. What is it? The final interview. My chest tightened. What about it? It was moved forward. To when? He looked directly at me. Tomorrow morning. I felt my pulse jump. Vanessa was about to walk into the biggest interview of her life without knowing the poor boyfriend she had humiliated would be sitting across the table. Vanessa called me the next morning before I had even finished my coffee. Her voice was full of energy. Ethan, today's the day. I already knew what she meant. The interview? Yes. Final round. She laughed softly. I think this is finally my big break. I stayed quiet. For a few seconds, I almost told her everything. I could have warned her that Noah Bennett was not the broke man she thought he was. I could have told her that his family owned the company she desperately wanted to join. But then I remembered the $100 bill at the cafe. I remembered the birthday dinner. I remembered the way she called Noah useless because she believed he had no money. So I said only one thing. Good luck. There was a pause. That's it? What else do you want me to say? She hesitated. Nothing. I just thought you'd sound more excited for me. I hope the interview goes well. We ended the call. Almost immediately, guilt started working on me. Was I simply allowing Vanessa to face the consequences of her own choices? Or was part of me secretly waiting for her to be shocked? I hated that question. I had already told Noah one thing clearly. Don't use your position to punish her. And he had promised me he wouldn't. So I stayed out of it. The hours passed slowly. Noah didn't call. He didn't text. I wanted to ask how the interview was going, but I stopped myself every time. This was his professional world. I had no right to interfere. Later that afternoon, my phone finally rang. It was Noah. Can you come to headquarters? Why? I want you to meet my mother. That surprised me. Today? Yes. I agreed. When I arrived at Bennett Hospitality headquarters, I stopped outside the building for a moment. Everything suddenly felt real. The glass entrance, the employees moving quickly through the lobby, the quiet confidence of the place. This wasn't just a company Noah knew. This was his world. And until recently, I had known almost nothing about it. He met me near the elevators. You okay? I think so. You don't sound sure. I looked around. I'm still getting used to all this. His expression softened. I know. A few minutes later, he introduced me to Margaret Bennett. I had expected someone cold, maybe distant. Instead, she smiled warmly. So you're Ethan? I shook her hand. It's nice to meet you. The feeling is mutual. While we spoke, an employee walked past. Margaret greeted him by name. Then another staff member stopped to hand her something. She thanked her with the same respect she had shown me. No different tone, no arrogance, no judgment. I glanced at Noah. For the first time, I understood even more clearly where he had learned to treat people the way he did. Then the elevator doors opened. Vanessa stepped out. Her eyes landed on me first. Ethan? She stopped. What are you doing here? Before I could answer, she saw Noah. Confusion spread across her face. What is he doing here? A man in a dark suit walked toward us. He looked directly at Noah. Mr. Bennett, we're ready for your recommendation. Vanessa froze. She looked at him, then at Noah, then at me. What did he call you? Noah didn't smile. He didn't enjoy the moment. He simply said, Noah Bennett, Executive Director of Bennett Hospitality. The color drained from Vanessa's face. Noah, I didn't know. Her voice changed immediately. About the cafe and dinner, I was joking. I didn't mean to hurt you. Noah looked at her calmly. Would you be apologizing if I were actually poor? Her lips parted. Nothing came out. The man beside us watched her closely. Vanessa finally whispered, That's not fair. He stepped forward. I'm Richard Hale. I oversee this recruitment process. Her face tightened. Richard continued, This position requires working with hundreds of employees. I know. Many of them will earn far less than you. She swallowed. He looked at her steadily. How you treat people without power matters. Vanessa's eyes moved back to Noah. I could see the truth reaching her. The problem wasn't that she had insulted an executive director. The problem was that she had insulted someone because she thought he was poor. Then she turned toward me. You knew. I said nothing. Her fear suddenly became anger. You set me up. Something inside me broke. Nobody set you up, Vanessa. She stared at me. Noah wore cheap clothes. You did the rest yourself. I didn't mean. Richard lifted his hand. That will be enough. Vanessa went silent. He spoke calmly. No final hiring decision will be made today. Her face changed. What does that mean? Your candidacy is suspended while the committee reviews whether your behavior is consistent with Bennett Hospitality's leadership values. For the first time, I saw real fear replace Vanessa's arrogance. She looked at Noah, then at me. Neither of us said anything. And in that moment, I knew she finally understood. Noah had not put her career in danger. She had done that herself. Vanessa's fear didn't last long. It turned into anger almost immediately. She looked at Noah first. You ruined this for me. Noah stayed calm. I didn't make the decision. You didn't have to. You're Noah Bennett. Everyone here listens to you. Then she turned toward me. And you knew. I didn't answer. Her voice rose. You chose him over me. Over years of friendship. I felt my chest tighten. This isn't about choosing Noah over you. Of course it is. No, it's about what you did. Before she could answer, the elevator doors opened. Daniel stepped out. Vanessa had called him. The moment she saw her brother, she rushed toward him. Tell them this is insane. Daniel looked at me, then Noah, then his sister. What happened? They're trying to destroy my career. No, I said quietly. They're reviewing what happened. Vanessa folded her arms. Same thing. Daniel's expression hardened. Did you insult Noah because you thought he was poor? She looked away. That isn't the point. It sounds like exactly the point. Her face changed. You're supposed to be on my side. I am on your side. Then defend me. Daniel shook his head. Not from something you actually did. Vanessa stared at him. For a few seconds, nobody spoke. Then Daniel sighed. You know why this bothers me so much? She said nothing. He looked at me. When we were teenagers, our family struggled badly. Vanessa's eyes flashed. Don't. We had almost nothing for a while. Daniel, stop. No, you need to hear this. I watched her face tighten. He continued. She hated how people treated us. She hated being looked down on. She promised herself she would never be in that position again. For the first time, something inside me shifted. I understood her fear, not her behavior, but the fear behind it. Daniel looked directly at his sister. You became so scared of being treated, like you were beneath people that you started treating other people that way. Her eyes filled. That's not true. It is. She shook her head. Then he said the words that finally broke through her anger. You became the kind of person you used to hate. Vanessa's face collapsed. She looked away and covered her mouth. When she finally spoke, her voice was quieter. I saw Ethan happy. I looked at her, with someone I thought had nothing. Noah stayed silent. She wiped at her eyes. I spent years chasing impressive people, successful people, people who looked right beside me. Her voice cracked, and I still felt empty. She looked at me. Then you showed up with Noah, and you were happy, really happy. And I hated that it made me question everything I'd been doing. The truth hurt more than another insult would have. Before I could respond, Noah turned toward Richard. I want to remove myself from the hiring decision. Richard studied him. You're sure? Yes. Vanessa looked stunned. After everything I said? Noah faced her. Your punishment shouldn't be whatever I personally want. Your future should depend on who you actually are. The committee continued without him. Later, Richard returned with the decision. My stomach tightened before he even spoke. We reviewed your professional history. Vanessa went pale. Richard continued. There are multiple complaints from junior employees. She swallowed. What complaints? Dismissive behavior, humiliation, treating lower-level staff as if their work had less value. She closed her eyes. The cafe had not been one terrible mistake. It was a pattern. Richard's voice stayed professional. We will not be offering you the position. Vanessa didn't argue this time. She just stood there. Noah had not taken revenge on her. Her own history had answered for her. After a long silence, she turned toward me. Tears filled her eyes. Ethan, are we still friends? I looked at the person who had stood beside me for years. I remembered the good memories. Then I remembered the $100 bill, the birthday dinner, and every cruel word she had chosen because she thought Noah had no power. For one terrible moment, revenge felt easier than answering her, because I suddenly understood that forgiving Vanessa and letting her back into my life might be two completely different decisions. I met Vanessa at the same cafe where everything had started. For a moment, neither of us spoke. There was no audience, no expensive dinner, no dramatic revenge waiting for her. Just the two of us sitting across from each other. Vanessa looked tired. I owe you an apology. I stayed quiet. And Noah too, she added. A real one this time. I watched her hands tighten around her coffee cup. I kept telling myself I was just being honest, or protective, or realistic. She looked down. I wasn't. Her voice became softer. I was cruel. That was the first time I had heard her say it without defending herself. Losing the promotion forced me to see something I didn't want to see, she said. It wasn't one bad joke. It wasn't one bad night. I had started treating people like their value depended on what they earned. I leaned back, and now I know I became someone I don't like. She looked at me carefully. Can we start over? The old part of me wanted to say yes. Years of friendship pulled at me, but I had already learned what loyalty without boundaries could cost. I forgive you. Her eyes lifted. You do? Yes. Relief crossed her face. Then I added, but that doesn't mean everything goes back to normal. Her expression fell. I don't hate you, Vanessa, but forgiveness doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. For once, she didn't argue. She nodded slowly. I understand. And somehow, that made me believe her more than any excuse ever had. Later, Daniel told me she had taken a smaller job. Less money, less status, more responsibility. She's changing, he said. For real? Slowly. I smiled. That probably means more. He nodded. She isn't doing it to impress anyone anymore. I think she finally understands what arrogance cost her. That gave me peace. But my own relationship still had work left. One evening, I sat across from Noah and finally said what I had been carrying. You hurt me too. His face tightened. I know. No, I need you to hear it. Hiding who you were made me feel like I had been tested. I understand. I don't want money deciding our relationship, but I don't want secrecy deciding it either. He reached across the table. I won't do that again. Promise? Yes. For the first time, I believe we were rebuilding something stronger than what we had before. A few days later, Noah drove me to an old restaurant property. The building looked abandoned. Dust covered the windows. What are we doing here? He pulled out a key and held it toward me. I stared at him. No, he laughed. You don't even know what I'm offering. You're not giving me a restaurant. His smile widened. It isn't yours. I frowned. Then what is this? Bennett Hospitality is reopening it. He placed the key in my hand. We need someone to manage the project. I looked at him. You're offering me the job? I recommended you. My stomach tightened. But you still have to interview. I stared at the key. Then I smiled. Good. He looked surprised. Good. I don't want it because I'm dating you. His expression softened. I know. Months later, I earned the position. Not as a gift, as a job. On opening night, the restaurant was full. I was moving between tables when I saw Vanessa near the entrance. She didn't wave me over. She didn't ask for special treatment. She waited, like everyone else. Before leaving, she stopped near Noah. I was wrong about you. He looked at her calmly. You weren't wrong because I'm rich. She stayed silent. You were wrong because you thought being poor made someone less human. Those words stayed with me. I once thought the biggest revelation in my life was discovering who Noah really was. It wasn't. The real revelation was seeing who people became when they believed the person in front of them had nothing to offer. And seeing that changed me too. I stopped choosing people because of history. I stopped excusing people because of guilt. I stopped confusing loyalty with accepting disrespect. Noah and I moved forward with honesty. Vanessa faced the consequences of who she had become. But she also got the chance to become better. And I finally understood that character had never been about money, status, or appearances. It was about how we treated people when we believed they could do nothing for us.